Sorry about that, guys. I started off with the wrong thing, and so I had to restart. But I forgot that I didn't need to restart all of it. So I preemptively restarted everything because my brain said, it happens sometimes. That's just not what I put up there. Why is... We'll see what it do. Hi everyone, John, other John, and Zach, hello. If that's not gonna update... Let's see. Nope, it's just not updating. Nope, not updating at all. Okay. Hello. Alright, well, TikTok wants to be dumb. Turn that one off. Whatever. Yes, it's evening. It is evening. Hello, everyone. We're getting everything running. Hey, Chris. Hello, everyone. Okay. Oh, yeah, I need to do that, too. Dun, dun, ba-bam. There we go. There we go. And... there we go. Everything should be connected now. That's how we do it. Alright. I'm just over here arguing with technology. Not a rock star, but thank you. So Jay, we're looking at doing it probably twice a month right now. So we didn't do it today because we had other stuff going on and a bunch of other things. There won't be one next weekend because we're taking us time, right? So there will be probably another podcast the weekend after. Hi, Meg. Hi, Deborah. Hi, CJ. I already said hi to Chris. We'll say hi to Chris again. Hey, Bishop, Citrine. Whenever dinner is ready. So probably an hour and a half. Daily dosage of negativity. Yeah, I understand that one. Totally get that one. Totally get that one. Alright, let me go ahead and pop that out. Get it over here. Why is this... okay, I was about to say, why is it not loading? Hello, hello, hello. We went over here. There we go. Awesome sauce. Now let's see. Who did I miss over here? Quasar Seraphim? Hello? I don't know how to say that. Sorry. So sorry. Totally probably messed that up. Oh, this is something that I designed myself, actually, Bishop. And this is the best you're gonna get right now. I don't feel like putting my arm over my head, so. Okay. Oh! I know who you are. Now I recognize your PFP. Got it. I know who you are. Perfect. Untwist these. Come on now. Ugh. Hello? There we go. Alright. Oh. I was all the way down. Oops. Hey, Soroski. Hello, everyone. Alright, we're almost there. Up on the TikTok to the 2,000 likes. I gotta add my whole thing in because I decided to break stuff. You guys have no idea, like, how annoying it is to adjust everything. We'll see how that sits. Okay. Alright. You guys see the thing. See the thing. It always happens. Alright, let's see what's up. Hi, how old are you?
47.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Do you still support him?
Yes, I do.
Why do you still support Trump?
Wait, I have a question for you.
Nope.
Is it really hard?
Okay.
Is it really?
So the way this works is I ask you a question, and then you answer it. You're not asking me questions. That's how this works. So if you would like to try again, Lulu, you're welcome to re-request. But that's how this works. When you say, can I ask you a question, and I say no, that's me telling you no. That's not inviting you to then continue to ask a question that I already told you no. I understand why you voted for Trump. You lack a respect of boundaries. No is setting a boundary.
Hello and good day.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
Nope.
Nope. Well, I hope you have a great one, man. They're a little bit bonkers. That's always true. Hi, thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, how old are you?
27.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And do you still support him?
Yep.
All right, what's the main reason that you still support Trump?
The main reason?
Yep, so let's start with one.
Who else do we have?
No, it's not who else do we have or who else should we support.
Right now,
you don't have to
in what he's
support
done?
anybody, so I'm asking
I mean,
you,
the only reason,
8 months
the only
into
thing I
his
don't,
presidency, why do you still
I'm
support
trying to
Trump?
tell you, you asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it, or do you want to talk over me? Maybe you could find a different caller. How's that?
That was a quick crash out. I literally had, and then he's like, you know what, how about you find another caller? Like, he crashed out. Yeah, that sounds right. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yo, yeah. This the stream with the debate?
I don't debate. How old are you?
I said I'm 19, and I voted for Trump because he's the best thing for America.
Yeah, when were you born?
Nigga.
Yeah, it's about what I thought. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Donald Trump has a big dick.
awkward. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
I am.
Hi, how old are you?
I am 39.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And do you still support him?
I do.
All right, what's your main reason why you still
The
support
main
him?
reason? Mass deportation. Absolutely the number one reason.
I talk about this all the time. Do you have anything else, just out of curiosity? We'll go down deportation. That's fine. I just was wondering if you had anything else out of curiosity.
Well, I don't want to weigh down your show. That is my number one reason, though.
Okay, that's fine. So, what is it about mass deportation that you're supporting, I guess?
Well, I live in a small state, about 4.1 million people. They have these construction projects that go up all the time. Some of them worth $32 million. You go to the sites of these construction sites, Hondurans, Venezuelans, not seasonal workers, people that are just planning on being here. They broke into the country, 10.3 million of them. And it just seems like, kind of an unfair situation for people who live here, You there?
I am. So, how do you know their country of origin? Did you go up and ask every single one of them at every single job site that you drove by?
Absolutely.
Oh, you asked every single, all 10.3 million?
That's not a fair question.
No, I mean, it is, because you said that they're from Honduras, they're from Venezuela, so I'm asking you...
Salvador. Yeah.
El Salvador. So you went up and you asked every single one of them, and them not knowing who you were, they just blatantly told you outright, yeah, I'm from country XYZ, and I came here through a non-port of entry. They just told you these things?
I got to be this guy. That doesn't seem like a good follow-up question to what I just stated.
Well, I mean, because the other question is, how do you know where they're from? And if, again, that's why, would you prefer me to ask you, how do you know where all of these people came from?
Well, how about this? Most of them are non-English speakers.
And we have plenty of United States citizens that don't speak English as their first language. It's not uncommon.
This doesn't seem like a very charitable or genuine conversation. It seems more like you want to debate with me.
No, it's not a debate because we don't even have a basic same ideology of facts, and it doesn't seem like you would be able to debate the other side, which is why it's not a debate. People that actually participate in debates have to have knowledge of both sides and be able to argue both sides of the argument. So what I'm actually asking you is, if you're for mass deportation, you're saying that all of these immigrants that you have driven by at construction sites in a state that has, you said, 1.6 million people in your entire state, but you drove by all of these people in your one town. 4.1 million in your state. Okay. Thought you said, so I reversed the numbers. My mistake there.
You're fine.
So 4.1 million in your entire state. You drove by all of these construction sites, and you're the one who made the claim that all of these immigrants were from Honduras, from Venezuela, or El Salvador. That was your claim. So when I'm asking you how you know where they're from, that's a pointed question, because why are we making generalized statements or assumptions just based off of what language somebody speaks, I guess, or what they look like?
Well, I'm going to say like this. I have spoken to a good number of them.
And they all everybody that you spoke to just blatantly told you, I'm from XYZ and I came here undocumented? They just had, they just told you, assuming that you weren't,
Can I answer the question? The ones that I spoke to, of course, it's usually a pretty cordial conversation. There's no hostility behind it. And I'm a worker just like everybody else. The thing about it is, whenever you interact with some of these people, you can ask them questions and no answers. Some of them came through the border and made their way to Washington, New York, other states, and found their way to my state. Now, if they're in my state, again, there isn't a ton of work out here. It's already a poor state. And having a bunch more poor people from other poor countries drives down the wages for the rest of the people. And it also stops opportunities like these construction jobs. Because if you get a whole site full of people you can pay damn near nothing, then you don't have to pay the Americans who live here a decent wage to do those same exact jobs.
So they don't speak English, right? So do you speak Spanish enough to converse with them and asking them where they're from?
I speak it enough to start a conversation, then I have Google Translate because we live in the future.
Gotcha. Sorry, it did seem like a decent question to ask on that one, since
No,
they
that
don't
was a good
speak
question.
English.
That was a good question.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
So I find it interesting, right, that somebody makes this generalized claim. So what we do know is that yes, individuals that come over here undocumented, non-port came through a non-port of entry, right? Didn't go through the proper channels. Yes, I find it very. They do go into labor-intensive work such as construction, right? They do. There's no denying that. However, there is no correlation causation that we have found through studies that prove that illegal or undocumented immigrants drive down the labor wages in these industries. Is there any study that you can point me to that shows the direct correlation causation that they drive down the wages?
Nothing that wouldn't be anecdotal.
No. Okay, so just your own personal experience. So there's no.
Well,
Gosh,
again,
there's a weird peer-reviewed study. Yeah, so there's no peer-reviewed study that you can point to.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I can actually point to a peer-reviewed study or two that actually proves the opposite, that there's no correlation causation that proves that they drive down the labor or the wages. Like Harvard Business Model did it. You also have Yale Business Model did it. Penn Wharton also did the study as well. Like, all these colleges did all of this. They published it. It was peer-reviewed, studied. They don't drive, like, what we see is that they don't drive down wages.
Okay. What about just the opportunity? You know, say, for instance, the local contractor who's building this apartment complex or this hospital has to hire just local people.
Okay. That's technically already a law. If you're aware of businesses that aren't following the legal laws about who they're hiring, then I would advise you to report them because it's already against the law that was passed in 1989. And it's also been made stricter since.
That seems kind of heartless. It seems like I'll be taking going out of my way to put them people through a lot versus just, you know.
If your issue is that they are taking away, if you report them, they just have to pay a fine. They pay a fine, right? And then they have to like get rid of the people that they hired that were undocumented, knowingly hired undocumented, right? If that is your issue, if your issue is directly saying that it's taking away from the job market, right, by them hiring these undocumented workers, then yes, you should be reporting them because that's the only way to fix it, because it is a finable offense.
All right. You know what? That is a really reasonable thing for you to say in this conversation. I appreciate you giving me your time.
Okay.
Right. Bye.
Bye. I'm just saying, if you know, if it's really an issue for you, if that is really what the issue is, you know of companies that are purposely hiring illegal immigrants, purposely, and not hiring people that want the job that are American citizens, then report them. Let them get fined. Let them find and hire American citizens. That's all you have to do. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
I'm here.
How old are you?
32.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
I do. Still support him, but a lot more that I disagreed with and that I hoped for. But still support.
Okay, no problem. Really quick, guys, on TikTok, if you guys want to send your daily heart me's in, we've only gotten 18 so far. We should already have way more. There's 393 people in TikTok. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 15,000 real quick. And then you guys know everything else to do on the other apps that I can't talk about because TikTok is sensitive. All right, guess what is one of the main reasons that you still support Trump?
So I'm not even going to talk about the immigration thing. I agree with a lot of the fundamentals, tax cuts. I agree with the same ideology, especially with the education system in school. So it's an ideology thing. More of, there's been a lot of dumb decisions, a lot of very shady things with the administration, but it's something that I would have expected from both sides at this point. I don't think we're getting away from it in politics either. I think no matter who steps in that office, we're going to have to deal with this. This was the big thing I took away from Trump, that there is no one candidate that's going to drain the swamp. That's just how it's going to be from now on. But I'm going to still support the fundamentals. I'm a conservative, and I believe in conservative principles.
Okay. So one of the things that you brought up was education. So what about, I would assume you're talking about curriculum? What's taught in schools?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that
Parents'
what you
choice.
meant?
Yep.
Okay. So is curriculum handled at the state or the federal level?
I mean, it kind of depends, right? So places with school choice, parents have much bigger say. Schools have to really kind of earn that money, right, from the parents. So a place like Florida where you have school choice and you can choose between multiple districts, you have much more of a say. But even so, there is a heavy curriculum that's just passed down, and that I think is just ingrained federally, right? Every single school, we have the same subjects: mathematics, social studies, history, and this is something that's just brought across. A lot of the stuff that they were teaching in schools, I don't think should have been touched. Sexually provocative. I've
Caller, can you hear me? Yeah, that happens. Okay, I'll have to... Sorry, guys. Yeah, that might have been it. That might have been it. That would be funny if that was the case, but... Alright, let's try to hit this button. Alright, I'm gonna need you guys' help on TikTok and double tap that screen to get the likes back going. And there we go. Yeah, I know. It's because the animals keep opening the door. So there's not much I can do. Hi, how old are you? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 37.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
I do.
Why is that? What's your main reason that you still support Trump?
One of my main reasons is his foreign policy, specifically when it comes to foreign entities acquiring U.S. interests. Even in his first administration, he was the president that blocked the most transactions that were potentially detrimental to the United States, and I really appreciated that.
Okay,
Coupled with the fact that,
where can I find a source for that? Honestly, I would like to find it. Oh, thank you, Lindsay.
The Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States.
I hope you realize that's not a source, right? Do you remember how to cite a source?
No, listen. There's no need to be, snarky about it. I mean, I'm just telling you.
No, it's not being snarky. It's, I think people honestly forget how to cite sources. So, you would cite sources by giving the title, where it's from. Oh my God! Thank you, Moose. I love Leon the kitten. Thank you so much, Moose. So you would cite a source by giving the title, who wrote it, and then where to find it. So you've skipped the first one and the second one and went straight to the third one. I need the title.
I understand that, but this is a conversation. So obviously it's a lot harder. If it were a paper that I wrote, I would gladly cite it for you. But let's skip that. Let's not dwell on the details of the citing and citations.
Don't dwell on
You
the
can
details.
look it up on the Financial Times and the Economist. If you want, I can later on post a link to your stream. Mnuchin, in particular, was very, very sympathetic and supportive of CFIUS during Trump's administration. The acquisition of Grindr by ByteDance, it was blocked. The identification of Huawei as a national security issue was also posted by Trump. There were several others that were also that came up during the Trump administration. Now, listen, I mean, other presidents have done it, but he was the most aggressive at blocking and divesting those types of business transactions. And I understand why other presidents don't like doing it. Is because we are a capitalist country, right?
Yeah, so I just want to be clear that there's nothing that I can find that says he blocked or stopped, prevented, whichever word you want to use, the most foreign investments in either his current presidency or his first term. That's actually not even a unit of measure.
In his current presidency, I don't think that it'd be a.
Oh, that's why I said his first two. I specifically put in first term.
No, that's fine. That's fair. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna try to find it for you as well too. And so anyway, but Mnuchin, who I was not a fan of, who I did not like, was very, very supportive of this. And I don't necessarily give all of the credit to Trump, but I at least recognize the fact that he selected someone like Mnuchin, who I was not a fan of, to go ahead and drive that initiative forward. So I just typed it in right now. Trump CFIUS, and first thing that comes up: Trump administration directs CFIUS to tighten restrictions on investments. From obviously that's not going to be good enough for your satisfaction, because it just pretty much stating what he plans on doing now. But we can also look up. Hold on a minute. Trump blocked Grindr. So here at Mother Jones in 2019, they talk about it. So listen, this is stuff that is obviously a lot more dense, and you can't just Google it and just kind of shoot from the hip with it. But it is a fact. All right. And no, I'm just letting you know that he did. He blocked and enforced the most to divest. And what I was going to say earlier was that other presidents don't like doing that because we are a capitalist country and they don't want to do anything that's detrimental to business, which I understand, but I also feel that there's a time and a place for everything. Does that make sense?
No, because I still can't find anything to support your claim.
Which part exactly that you can find?
Who blocked the most foreign investments? And
Okay.
It doesn't, William, just so you know, I did Google exactly what you said, and it didn't pull up what you're saying.
Okay. All right. Well,
not you. Sorry, that was to a comment.
No. Yeah. Hold on a minute. All right. Hold on. But listen, like I said before, I can definitely find it and put it in there for you. Okay. Well, actually, I searched right now. Which president blocked the most CFIUS transactions in history? And to date, President Donald Trump has blocked the most CFIUS transactions with at least 4 to his name. and that's right there came out in Google AI.
CFIUS transactions?
CFIUS, Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States,
Oh.
CFIUS.
Yeah, next time you should actually say that, because the majority
Well,
of
I did
people
say it
don't
at the
know
beginning.
that. Yeah, you said
I
it,
did
but
say
then
it
you
in the
have to say,
beginning,
like,
but-
the acronym is this, and then you could continue to say
Okay.
that.
Well, I
Right?
was trying to, but you immediately went on attack mode, saying trying to lecture me on.
I
citations
literally
and
let you.
practices.
So you've been on the phone already for 7 minutes, and you've probably have spoken for 5 minutes out of that 7, and I've spoken for maybe 2.
But it still doesn't take away from the fact that when I was trying to articulate what CFIUS was, you interrupted me. But listen, again, we don't have to get into the weeds of this thing. I mean, are we going to have a discourse or not? You asked me why I like
CFIUS
them.
itself
I
does
told
not
you.
block investments and instead makes recommendations to the president. The person who has blocked the most CFIUS investments is the president of the United States. Doesn't even say a
Exactly, yeah.
name. It doesn't say a name. It just says the president of the United States. It doesn't say
Okay,
a name.
but if
Mind you, this
Google
was
it, like
this
I told you,
CFIUS was
it
created
says-
in 1978 or 9. What year was that?
I
again?
no, but I never said that he created it. What I
No,
said
I know.
was that
I was at 1975.
he's blocked the most, and I'm looking at it right now on Google AI, which is one of the few benefits of AI, I suppose. And I'm not a fan of AI, that it can search things a lot quicker and in contextual and put it into context for you when you put the
If
proper
you're just
search
looking
thing.
at the AI overview, it only credits Donald Trump 1, which is the
No,
blocked
I'm
the
looking at it now,
acquisition
and
of
it says
U.S.
you-
chip maker Lattice Semiconductor by a Chinese-backed private equity firm. And then it's talking about the ByteDance being ordered to divest, which of course, and they gave him credit for that in 2020, which it didn't happen. That's incorrect. I can tell you from Google AI because I've actually researched this one in general. It was an executive order that was telling ByteDance that they needed to move where they housed American information, and that's when they partnered up with Oracle, and all of our information has been stored in Texas for the last 5 years, right, by Oracle.
So I'm looking at it right
this
now.
is just more proof that AI, it can be wrong, right? Because here we
Well, no,
actually
there's no denying that. There's no denying that.
where it gives
Mhm.
Joe Biden 2 credits, where again it only really
Yeah.
gave Trump 1 credit, and that's just for Lattice Semiconductor. So
Well, I'm
still
looking,
don't get
I'm
what
looking at it
you're.
as well.
Yeah,
I'm looking
I
at it
know.
as well, and it
Yeah.
says that Herbert Walker Bush had 1 in 1990. Barack Obama had 2. Trump had 4 in 2017. He the Lattice Semiconductor in 2018. Qualcomm by Broadcom.
And then AI
And in
overview is not
2020
available for
and
this search.
And in
Got it.
2020, ByteDance, and in 2025, he issued an order for a Chinese company to divest its interest in the video processing technology company. So I mean, I don't know what like I said, I'm looking
You
at
just
the
said his
same
first
Google AI that you're
term,
looking
and
at.
it only gave
Yeah,
him
it's
credit
4.
for one singular thing. Just like you just gave credit to Obama, you gave credit to a bunch of other presidencies for only doing one thing. So it doesn't sound like he's the most.
I gave credit. Well, I'm looking. It says right here, Donald Trump 4, Barack Obama 2, Herbert Walker Bush 1, and Joe Biden 2.
What exactly did you type into Google? Because again,
I typed in.
AI is
typed
not
in
giving me
which
anything.
President,
Yeah, which president?
Which president blocked the most CFIUS transactions in history?
Transaction. See, guys. History. And even then, it wasn't even correct. ByteDance is still not correct on that one. So when we take
ByteDance-
that's
so-
incorrect.
Who are you
Let's
attributing
see.
ByteDance to then? Who are you
Because
attributing
ByteDance literally, so it says literally, ByteDance acquisition of Musical.ly, which is now TikTok. Who owns TikTok right now?
Say again. No, so
Who
TikTok?
owns
TikTok right now?
TikTok right now?
It's not an American company.
Who owns TikTok?
I believe it was ByteDance.
It's ByteDance.
Dance.
So you understand
Yeah.
how that one by itself is immediately wrong. And so because they give him credit not once but twice for ByteDance, which I find hilarious, we can't even consider that one to be true or his credit, right? Because technically the law was signed under by Joe Biden last year. So that's incorrect. So really we can only credit him 3. And based off of that, that means it's actually FDR has the most. So you're still incorrect. So you see how
FDR
AI
well,
can
Cynthia-
once again
well,
be
Cynthia's-
wrong. Like
no,
this
no,
is
no.
this is
No.
yeah, I get it. This doesn't
No,
fit your
you're wrong.
narrative.
You're wrong
I'm
because-
I'm just immediately wrong because when we actually look at
No.
it, FDR has 5, but Donald Trump has 4. But even one of them isn't even true because ByteDance still owns TikTok. Isn't that very
But-
interesting? Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
It's not.
It's
Here's
you're
the
misreading
thing.
it.
This is. I'm.
He ordered. He,
No. I've already explained to you what it was about TikTok. Right? Because I literally have already researched ByteDance and TikTok. Okay? Let me rephrase this for you again. So when Donald Trump wrote an executive order, right? Way back when, and it talked about TikTok, right? It just literally ordered them to house our private information in a U.S. server, which is when ByteDance partnered with Oracle, and now our information is stored in Texas. Okay? That's the only thing Donald Trump has done. And now, again, the Prevention of Foreign Governments Owning stuff, or I don't remember what the actual name of the bill was, that was tied into H.R. 815, the required appropriations bill to continue to fund the government that passed in April of 2024. That was passed and signed off on by Joe Biden. And since it passed and since it went into effect, Donald Trump has given not 1, not 2, but 3 extensions on the order taking effect. So that still wouldn't fall under CFIUS. I'm just saying. It's very odd for people to just bring up stuff. The AI, yeah, exactly. The AI that I trained only to feed into my narrative said the information fit my narrative. That's a very good one, Grey Keys. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
38.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
You do the string about exactly the stream. I say your stream, but I think you talk about Trump.
I literally
run the
just asked
country.
you. Okay. I'm not doing that. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes,
How old are you?
34.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes,
Do you still support him?
absolutely.
What is your main reason that you still support Trump?
He loves America. He's pro-democracy, and I just think he's a great president.
So, thoughts and vibes?
Well, I think, first off, he's a pro-democracy president because the people voted for him. Unlike the Democrats, who the last 3 presidential elections, they handpicked their candidates, lied about the president, competence. I don't know how anyone can vote for that party. They don't care about your vote.
Who are the last 3 Democratic presidents?
Last 3 Democratic candidates, we had Hillary Clinton.
No,
They
you said
stole it from Bernie.
presidents. You said presidents.
No,
You didn't say
I meant
candidates.
candidates. My bad. I
Okay.
meant
Can you
candidates.
still go ahead and answer that, though? Who are the last 3 Democratic presidents?
You had Bill Clinton, Obama, and Biden.
Perfect. Okay. So, as far as Democratic candidates continue...
Sorry, I might not be as smart as you, but I'm not completely stupid.
No, I just wanted to ask, just to see.
Yeah. I know your little tactics. It's cool.
Oh, yep. I'm so tactical. Anyways. Presidential candidates.
Yeah.
I heard you mention
mean-
Hillary and Bernie Sanders, right?
They stole the election from Bernie.
They didn't
stole it
actually. Do you
again
know what
from
happened in
Yeah, they actually did.
2016? Do you know what happened in
You don't think
2016? Do
you
you
don't
do you
think
know
the
what happened in
superdelegates are a
2016?
bunch of
Okay.
scams?
Let's try this. Okay. Bernie Sanders actually withdrew his bid for the presidential nomination in 2016 because he had a heart attack.
Really?
Yes.
No, he withdrew because he knew it was a scam and he was never going to win. They weren't going to let him.
Wow. Okay.
So hold on, he had a heart attack, which was just news to me. But okay, I'll give you that. Super news to me. But okay. You tell me they didn't scream out again in 2020 when Biden was lost Iowa, lost New Hampshire, and then magically everyone started dropping out right before South Carolina. Clyburn, the representative, called and told everyone to drop out, endorsed Biden because I'm throwing my hat behind Biden, and they screwed Bernie once again. And of course, Bernie's weak and pathetic and sided with the Democrats.
Gotcha.
Please tell me where I was wrong with that. You sit here and you say you're not a Democrat. I've watched you a few times. You say you're not a Democrat. But
I'm
yet
not.
again, you'll sit there and vote for a party that doesn't care about the vote, doesn't care about democracy. They just care about power.
Oh, got you. So let me be clear. The reason why I voted Democrat for the last 3 elections is because the only candidate has been Donald Trump, and I have never once been a fan of his platform or his policies or his agenda that he suggested. Okay? Which is why I voted in opposition of Donald Trump, right? The only candidate whose platform that I really actually liked recently would have been Harris, right? And I actually read her platform. I read all 11 pages just on her kamalaharris.com/issues website, and then I actually downloaded and read all 82 pages of her economic plan that she had, right? So again, the only reason I voted for the Democrats is because, unfortunately, the third party has absolutely no chance of winning against Donald Trump. And I knew that, at least during this past election for sure, voting for a third party would have actually just been tossing a vote towards Donald Trump, even though we actually see that the majority of voters voted against Donald Trump. Like, more people voted against Donald Trump than voted for him. He only had 49.8. He only had 49.8% of the popular vote, which means 50.2%. 50.2% voted against him. More people voted against Donald Trump than voted for him. You can't even say that he won the majority of the popular vote because, again, majority would be 50.1%.
It doesn't matter.
Majority voting is 50.1%, and he didn't get 50.1%. He got 49.8%. So even people saying that he won the majority vote, it's still an incorrect thing. Oh, no, guys, it's because we don't go off of majority voting in our country. We do plurality. It's just
we do electoral college.
No, it's called plurality voting.
We do the electoral college.
It's called plurality voting.
Popularity vote for each story.
No, it's not popular. It's plurality. Those are two different words. It's called plurality.
2016, you guys said, well, he won, but he didn't. Let's get rid of electoral college.
Nope, I never said that.
Vote.
So who is we?
I'm not saying you.
You just did. You just said we. You just said you.
You did.
It's
you
not.
did say you voted against him.
That's exactly. Congratulations.
So
that's all you have. But I never said anything. I've never said get rid of the electoral college. In my opinion, the electoral college, the system itself can stay. The system itself can stay. Okay. The system of the Electoral College can stay. What I believe needs to happen is that it needs to change to match the same way that Nebraska and Maine have their Electoral College, so that it's not just winner takes all, right? Because that's not a good representation of all of the districts. I literally am in the middle of explaining it. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's not a representation of all of the districts in states, because if you actually look at counties, right, and you actually break it down by county, you'll see that there are always giant blue counties in every state, with a few exceptions, Oklahoma being like one of the states that always goes red, right? And then the same thing can be said. The same thing can be said about states that the Democrats win, right? Is that there are also always red counties. So if you change the system, that means it's still going to. I'm literally, dude. I'm so glad you're not listening. No, because you're not listening. Are you?
All right, I'm sorry. You gotta give me.
If you would actually, sir, we've been on the phone for 6 minutes, almost 7, and you've done the majority of the talking. I've asked you a couple questions, and then I've let you ramble on. I'm so sorry that my 25-second ramble interfered with the 7 minutes of this phone call.
I would like you to prove my point wrong. Instead of going off to a different topic. The Democratic Party is anti-democratic.
I'm not a Democrat, so I don't give a fuck about the Democratic Party. Do you see me here endorsing anyone? Let me be clear. I have never once endorsed a Democratic Party person except for Kamala Harris. And that's not even me giving an endorsement because I am nobody. I am just a political speaker here. I'm a political commentator. What I actively do, though, is speak out against the person who's actually the president of the United States and has some kind of pull, right? Has some kind of say. And in my opinion, is actually destroying democracy as we know it within the country of the United States of America because he's ignoring the checks and balances and the fact that we have 3, not 1, but 3 co-equal branches of government within the United States of America. We don't have kings here.
I get it. You don't like Trump, but yet again, you sit there. And
I talk specifically about. Oh gosh, I am so sorry, guys. Okay, let me be very clear, guys. I guess I owe everybody an apology. I guess I owe everybody an apology in that's watching the stream right here. I am so sorry that it is so confusing that I can vote for a party but not endorse a party. I am so terribly sorry, everybody, that I can vote for a party without endorsing the party itself. I am so sorry, everybody, that I can vote and still hold different beliefs than what they do. I am so sorry that I can vote against somebody and then also recognize the fact that they're fucking up while they're president of the United States. I am so sorry that I can watch the active sitting president of the United States actively try to destroy democracy as we know it in the United States of America. I am so sorry that I'm watching him destroy our foreign relations with other countries. I am so sorry that I see him ignoring the checks and balances that have been in place while he's actively just overriding executive orders this entire time while he's being actively challenged in court so often. I am so sorry that I'm actually able to iterate a reason why I don't like the president of the United States. I am so sorry that I endorse the foundation of our United States Constitution that Donald Trump is actively attempting to change through executive order, which is an absolute violation of the United States Constitution that clearly lays out how you can actually change the Constitution of the United States, which is through an act of Congress that then has to be voted on by all of the states in the country, right? You have to, I'm sure you don't even know how much of Congress has to vote in order to make an amendment or change an amendment of the United States Constitution. I'm sure you don't know how many states have to vote in favor of adding or changing a United States constitutional amendment either. I'm sure you don't understand what the powers or the job is of the judicial branch of government. You might not even know what the judicial branch of government is. I'm sure you probably don't know anything except for the executive branch of government because you somehow believe or somehow think that we only have a king in this country, being Donald J. Trump, right? So I'm just being very clear. I am so sorry that I am actually able to list a reason and actually put words and describe, explain exactly why I don't agree with the president of the United States of America. I am so sorry that I actually agree with the Electoral College, which is not a democratic view, by the way. It's not a liberal party view. I actually agree with the Electoral College. I just think that it needs tweaked a little bit, which isn't what Donald Trump thinks. He thinks that what the Electoral College should do is it should be every single electoral vote goes to the candidate that wins, or the majority vote, right? He petitioned for Nebraska and Maine to change their Electoral College system prior to the vote actually that came up in November 5th. So it's very funny about all of this. Yeah, listen, dude, I don't even know what you're saying right now. I just know that you're talking. I don't have to listen to anything that you're saying. It's really great when you actually have control of everything like this. It's really great when I don't have to listen to you actually be crashing out because you're unable to articulate the reasons why you actively support Trump.
Let's have a civil conversation.
It's you who is unable to articulate it. I'm actually able to give you every reason why I don't endorse or don't support the active sitting president of the United States of America. I'll even just help you out here and just go ahead and go through my reasons, okay? So let's be very clear. I don't support a president who's actively ignoring articles and amendments of the United States Constitution and going against them. I don't support a president that talks about annexing our neighbor country, Canada. I don't support a president that talks about buying another country known as Greenland. Okay? I don't support a president that talks about taking back the Panama Canal, which was rightfully given back to the country of Panama after civil unrest broke out due to our military occupation of the canal in 1999 by an act of Congress that was then signed off on by the sitting president of the United States of America. I understand that it's something that you don't understand. See how I'm completely able to articulate the reasons why I don't endorse Donald Trump? I'll even go further than that. I can also tell you that he's actively violating Article 1, or sorry, Article 1, Article 2, Article 6 of the United States Constitution, and he's ignoring Article 3 of the United States Constitution. I'm sure you don't know which ones those are. But when it comes to United States constitutional amendments, he's actively violating Amendment 1, the Second Amendment, right? The Fourth, the Fifth, the Sixth, the Eighth, and the 14th Amendment. And he's joked about ignoring Amendment 12 and 22nd Amendments. I hope all of that helps your understanding for supporting my number one reason why I don't support Donald Trump, right? Is him actively violating the United States Constitution, which is the foundation of our democracy in this country. So with that being said, I'm going to be very clear here. Your first claim about the fact that he supports democracy in this country is automatically invalidated by the fact that he is actively going against articles and amendments of the United States Constitution, which is the foundation of our democracy in the United States of America. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed his emotional outbreak. Okay, guys, how are we doing? I hope everybody enjoyed that one. I'm so sorry. I don't normally do that, but it was quite annoying. Okay, really quick TikTok. Let's get the likes up to 75,000. I'm going to mute you for a second. All right, guys, everybody over on Twitch and YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry I wasn't able to talk to you while I was just monologuing. I admit 100% that was a monologue. It is what I do when somebody's just not listening or is ignoring facts or what are actually facts, right? He's blind to them. So what I am going to ask you guys to do, all right, and welcome in again. If you guys are watching me over on YouTube, this is something that I've started. I like to try to get 5 new members a day on YouTube, and I would so appreciate if you can become a member. It's a low price of $3.99 at the lowest level, or you can become a mermaid tail and $7.99 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, wherever you go and get your needed break, right? Your needed caffeine hit, okay? And same thing over on Twitch. We also have subscribers available, paid subscribers. So I really appreciate if you guys can become a paid subscriber. If not, I totally understand. It is not required in any way, shape, or form. And I do want to let you guys know that if you do send a super chat, it does go right up on the screen. For some reason, one didn't go through, so I'll go ahead and pop this out and put it up here for you. What did that say? Oh, G1 just sent $19.99. I do appreciate that so much. I don't know why it's not popping up. Oh, never mind, I do. I didn't fix that yet. Okay, let me come back to TikTok. Okay, TikTok, sorry about that, guys. Trying to come back over here. I do appreciate you guys so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. as high as we can get them. I appreciate y'all so much. That should fix my issue with missing that. Thank you, Giwan, for the $19.99. I do so much appreciate that as well. We're going to open these phone lines back up to the next conversation. Hopefully, he's able to, I don't know, maintain himself. And thank you so much, Paul, for sending out a gifted membership. If you guys are able to become a member, I encourage you to do so. It does, like I said, just help me keep doing this for 2 hours out of my day. 6 days a week. I appreciate you so much, Paul. We just need 4 more. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 21 years old. How are we doing?
I'm doing well. Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't. I voted for Chase Oliver, but, looking at these 2 options, I would have voted for Trump.
Okay, well, have a good one. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How old are you?
38.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
No, I don't vote for any politicians.
All right, man. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
How old are you?
28.
Okay. Do you still support Trump?
Yes.
And what year were you born?
97.
Okay. Can you turn off the stream in the background?
Yeah. You hear me?
I can hear you. It's much better when that's not going on. So why is it that you still support Trump?
I think he still needs to do what he's got to do. You got to give him time.
Why?
Well, why did we give Biden 4 years?
No, I'm just asking why. I can already see what he's actively doing in his first 7 months of presidency. And I strictly remember when, and I know you weren't, you would have been able to vote, but I strictly remember that even just within the first 2 months of Biden's presidency, MAGA was flipping out and would not give him time and see what he would do. So, I mean, I have given him time. I feel as though, honestly, in my opinion, 7 months is enough time to see what he's going to do. And what he's done so far, again, this is not just, this actually one is just not my opinion alone. This is, you can hear them say it themselves. He has ruined our relationship with foreign world leaders. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, right, of Canada, has very clearly said that the relationship between Canada and the United States will never be the same. The United Kingdom, France, Spain, Germany, Poland, they've all said the same thing.
Yeah. Like I said, I think you just gotta give him time. Everybody. I mean, my opinion is it doesn't matter who the president is. I still gotta do what I gotta do every day. I still gotta take care of my family. The president never has really affected directly my life. Obviously, there's an impact, a greater impact for everybody, but it still doesn't, whoever the president is, doesn't depend, basically dictate my actions on what I got to do every day. The president, no matter who it is, isn't going to wake up and go to work and take care of my family.
No, that's true. Yeah, no one's going to do that but you.
So I think, like I said, I voted for Trump. I think that, like any president.
So let's try it this way. What is something that he's done in his current 7 months of presidency that you can 100% stand behind?
That I could 100% stand behind?
Yeah, so it would be like, What has he actively done? See, I think people get confused when I ask them, why do you still support Trump? That's what I'm asking, right? Is in his 7 months of presidency, why are you still supporting Trump? Do you support him in his administration? Specifically, with his, let me just give you an example here, and let me just ask you this. I'm going to rephrase entirely, and I do apologize. Okay, so what we know is with his deportations that are being carried out by ICE, right? IC, okay? We know that ICE is on video dragging a pregnant woman across the parking lot. Is that something that you support? She's 9 months pregnant. She's very obviously pregnant. You have people in the crowd that are confirming with her that she's pregnant because she is speaking another language. She is speaking Spanish. And so you have onlookers yelling at ICE, telling them, telling ICE members, ICE officers, that she is 9 months pregnant while they are dragging her across the parking lot. Is that something you support? Okay. Do you support ICE detaining an American citizen?
You're just gonna keep talking and
not let me talk. Well, your service is breaking up pretty bad now.
Of course I am.
No, I mean, you actually were. Now it sounds like your service is good again.
What I'm trying to say is, you asked me a question, but then you're like trying to tell me what to say.
No, I just, it's a yes or no question when I ask a question like that. Do you support that, yes or no?
I was responding. I don't, but you're asking me what, you're asking.
So I was going to give you another example.
Back up, but you're giving me examples, is what I'm saying. You're asking me a question and you're trying to set up the question to get the answer that you want.
Gauging your level of humanity. I'm gauging your level of humanity. Or I guess I should say your level of empathy or compassion.
There's things that happen every day throughout the whole world. What are you doing personally, other than just talking on YouTube, to actually make a difference? What are you personally doing every day? Can I ask you that? What actually do you do hands on the field every day?
Oh, I donate to activists and charities.
No, but what do you do, like, personally?
I literally just told you.
Anybody can give money.
Yeah.
Anybody can give money away, but what do you do?
No, I donate to activism and charities. Oh, this is education. This also is education. I give 2 hours out of my day, 6 days a week, in order to educate the masses that listen in. And I have, let's see, yesterday I had over 150,000 tune into me yesterday. And that was just on the Red app, whose name I can't say because TikTok is sensitive. So far today, I've already had 86,000 people tune into my stream. So in this case, I am educating or assisting in educating the masses who might not know something. I also give them resources in which they can use to find everything. And I encourage every single person to not just believe what I say, but also to research it themselves and look it up themselves.
Hello?
I guess you cut out during that, so I am going to move on if your service can't keep up with me. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello? Yes.
Hi, how old are you?
21.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
No.
No?
I didn't vote for either party.
All right, man. Well, hope you have a good Sunday night. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. How old are you?
59.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
I do.
Okay. Give me just 1 second, all right?
Sure.
Thank you, Sorai. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name correctly. Thank you for the bear. Thank you for the 279 Canadian. You can call me a goof. It doesn't insult me at all. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. So, caller, what is the main reason that you still support Trump?
Well, I always support our president. I didn't vote for Biden, but I tried to support him as long as I could. He is the president of the country we live in, but I heard your last caller was saying that that it was like we live in a democracy. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic.
Which is
You
a
would
form
never
of
wanna live in a-
democracy. It's actually
Well,
so
you would never.
it's
You would
it's an
never want to live in
indirect
a
form of
democracy.
democracy, but a republic
okay.
falls under a
Yeah.
democracy. It's indirect democracy, but it is still a democracy.
Right, but we live in a republic. The United States is a republic, not a. Yeah, I think
It's
he was
still
saying it
an
was a
indirect
democracy,
democracy. Yeah. It's still a democracy.
Well, you wouldn't want to live in a democracy. Then the laws could just be completely changed by a vote of the people. But that's here nor there. But yeah, I still support Trump.
We have so what you're talking about is citizen initiated ballot measures, which 24 states have, sir. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, that's why. So two things can be true at the same time. All right. We are a constitutional republic.
Right.
And we are a democratic republic. These two things are true at the same time, which is why it's mostly the way that our federal government runs is in fact an indirect democracy. But the way that at least 24 states in this country run, they're a direct democracy because we have citizen initiated ballot measures, which means that citizens such as you or me or any of the thousands of people watching, right, can start a ballot petition in their state that says we want to vote on a law talking about being able to own tigers, right? And then that goes up on your ballot in your midterms or on your federal election years. So we do. We are a constitutional republic and we are a democratic republic. Two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going, but yeah. Okay. Okay. I just thought it was strange that he was like, "Oh no, we live in a democracy." Well, no, we actually live in a republic. But I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely still support Trump. Do you support him?
No.
No. Well, it's tough. It's our president. You gotta kind of go with it. I mean, it's only we only got 3 years left. A little bit more, but 3 years left with President Trump. I thought he did a pretty good job the first time, and I think then he had 4 years to plan for this 4 years. But would you agree? Let me ask you: would you agree that he was treated very unfairly in his first 4 years?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
He had control of the House and the Senate in his first 2 years of presidency. He could have gotten a lot done. He didn't.
No, yeah, they probably could have got a lot more done. You're absolutely right, but they did tie up a lot of his time in the legal system, which
That happens to every president. Even Obama was sued. People forget that.
Yeah, no, you're right there. I mean, look at the amount of people always their hair's falling out of their heads because Trump's deporting the illegals, and as we know, Obama deported a lot more people than Trump would ever dream of deporting. So, but people forget that, right?
Trump's stated goal is to beat Obama's deportation numbers, so that's not true.
They might.
And to be very clear, the ACLU most assuredly freaking sued the heck out of the Obama administration, just as they're also suing Donald Trump right now.
Well,
Same thing, they also sued Joe Biden during his administration, but people forget about that.
I don't know. What did you can just educate me. What did Biden get sued for?
The way that he was also conducting some of the deportations. It's all the same thing. It's all about the condition of the deportation centers, what they're undergoing while they're there. Thank you, Eva. And everything like that. They sue every president on the same grounds. The difference is Donald Trump is overstepping his ability or what his job is that's laid out under Article 2 of the United States Constitution with writing executive orders in an attempt to change constitutional amendments are what the constitutional amendment means, which is a direct
Yeah,
violation of Article 2 of the United States Constitution. And so
we're
therefore,
in
a lot
agreement.
of these deportations that are being conducted are violating amendments 4 and 5 specifically. And then some of them, specifically where we sent, and thank you, Brookie, for your very first gift, where we sent 270 individuals to CCOT in El Salvador, because the El Salvadorian government finally acknowledged that every single immigrant that was sent there were under the United States authority. The United States government is now being brought up in several civil suits. Actually, I think they're making it a class action suit about violations of the 8th Amendment of cruel and unusual punishment that they received while they were held in a CCOT prison.
Oh, with Obama, you mean?
No, this was under Trump. Donald Trump literally paid $6 million to the El Salvadorian government. It might have been billion. I'll have to check that. I think it was $6 billion to the El Salvadorian government for them to hold 270 individuals. 238 of them had no criminal records in any country. 238. He's not even deporting criminals like he promised. He's not even deporting that many illegal immigrants as he promised. He's actively trying to make them immigrants illegal by revoking their status. Was it only 6 million? Listen, I know it was 6 something. It might have been a B or an M.
Yeah, the number that Obama deported. I don't think it was that high, but I think it was like 3 million.
I believe Obama was 3.3 million. Let me double check.
Yeah. So yeah, real close, real close.
Yeah, and Donald Trump's goal is $1 million each year.
Right. So he might get there. You never know. I mean, he might get there. But if it's, I don't think he just kicks normal people out. But, if people come into our country not the proper way, then they've entered the country illegally, right? Hello?
It's a civil infraction.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, if somebody breaks into your house, I mean.
Nope, those don't correlate, sir. Those are not the same.
Then entering our country illegally?
Entering the country through a non-port of entry? No, sir, it's not the same thing.
Well, you've come into our country.
It's still not the same thing.
No,
Arizona v. United States in 2012, the United States Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, is the one that laid out very clearly that individuals who are considered deportable or removable are not criminals. It's a civil offense. It is a civil process to be deportable, which is why when you're talking about breaking and entering, it is not the same thing, because breaking and entering is in fact a criminal offense. Just by existing here and being deportable or removable because you came in through a non-port of entry does not make you a criminal, nor does it make it a crime.
Well, if your
in
front
order
door
for the
was
United
wide open,
States, no, sir, I still don't think you're understanding.
I'm not.
Correct. You're talking about a civil infraction, a civil offense versus a criminal offense, which is why it is not comparable. This was very clearly laid out in that case. Again, it was the Arizona versus the United States, 2012.
Right.
United States Supreme Court, the highest court of our land, is the one that made that very clear determination.
Right, but I don't think anybody expected under Biden for people to just be flooding over our
They
border.
didn't, sir. They didn't.
They didn't.
You're referring to, I would assume, the encounters that were reported on CBP's website, correct?
No, I'm talking about all the news networks like showing Eagle Pass and everything coming in, and then Abbott had to get involved down in Texas trying to slow the flow, you might say. And then,
yes, because they were going through ports of entry at the border. They weren't crossing illegally, sir. If they are caught on camera and they are stopped by Border Protection, CBP, then they were stopped and they were tallied up under encounter. That means they were known. This is by CBP's own definitions. Okay? If they're caught on camera and then they're caught within 100 miles of the southern border or even the northern border, sir, it is included
what?
as an encounter.
So
So
what
when
do
you're
we
actually
do with
looking
those
at these
people?
encounter numbers, by their own definition on CBP's website, an encounter is somebody that attempted to enter the country illegally and then was rejected. So that 10 million number that people love to talk about, or it's really only 8.4 million encounters were encountered at the southern border under the Biden administration, that actually is telling you that 8.4 million were rejected and CBP was doing their job. What it is
where
unfortunately
did
the
they
news
go?
media, they were sent back or repatriated. They were just rejected at the border. The United States of America has no business. If we're not letting somebody into the country, then we have no business to put them on a flight and make sure that they go all the way back home. We just let them sit in Mexico and they can figure it out for themselves. That's how that goes. Because why would we, if we're not letting someone into the country, why on earth would we then pay for them to make it all the way back to, I don't know, let's just say Brazil?
Right, that's something like Brazil. But stay in Mexico was in the first Trump term. Not,
and do you think that remain in Mexico, did that affect legal immigration or illegal immigration, sir?
I would say it supported legal immigration would stay in Mexico.
No, did it affect?
Mexico
Did it
was
affect?
just allowing them to flood through their country.
They weren't. Did it affect?
They weren't.
No, sir. Did it affect legal or illegal immigration? Not support. Did it affect?
Oh, it would have affected illegal.
Incorrect.
Immigration.
So stay in Mexico was
wrong
specific.
again, huh?
Yeah, it's specifically an asylum claim program that made it so that asylum seekers who were not from Mexico, when they came to the United States border and were stopped by CBP and said, I want to claim asylum, that CBP then turned them away back to Mexico to wait for their court date in Mexico. It only affected about 65,000 individuals that were trying to claim asylum. And the reason why the stay in Mexico or remain in Mexico was actually ended, it was ended by the Supreme Court of the United States because it created a humanitarian crisis in the encampments that they were staying in within Mexico, where we saw over 3,000 women and children suffer atrocities such as murder, rape, human trafficking as a result of them being
to the U.S. border.
No, they had already come to the border and then they were turned away and told that they had to stay in Mexico. Legal immigrants, legal asylum seekers, people that had valid claims to asylum that were being forced to wait in a country that they're not from, in encampments that they're not familiar with, being forced to wait there for their asylum court date that could be months or years away, which is why even now, even though Donald Trump wrote a new executive order trying to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, Mexico isn't honoring that policy, sir.
Yeah,
it created a humanitarian crisis.
I understand what you're saying.
It's not too bad, sir. I believe that one instance of rape, human trafficking, or murder for people that were actively fleeing a bad situation in their home country occurring in another country that's not even the one that they were trying to get to is too many. It created a humanitarian crisis, and it's a good thing that it ended, and it should never go back into effect because, again, it only affects legal immigration, which is what everybody says that they want to occur here, is people to do it the right way. So why are we condoning a policy that only affects legal migrants, and it does nothing to curb illegal immigration?
Well, we had an awful lot of illegal people living, like in New York City.
No, those were also legal. They were also legal immigrants. No, they were, sir.
They didn't enter here legally.
No, they did, sir. So, so unless if they didn't come here, the right way, right? Then what you would have to be telling me is governors like Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis, who are the ones that wrote the policy to place these migrants on these buses in order to send them off to sanctuary cities across the country, so like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, is that you'd have to be telling me that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida were actively committing human trafficking. by sending illegal immigrants across this country to at least 3 different cities that I named.
Yeah, but see that's kind of the flip side of what you were just saying.
No, it's not, because if they were illegal, guess what they
no.
would have done? They would have repatriated them out of this country. They would
Right,
have
but
put
they
them back
weren't.
to their own country. Right, they weren't, which is why they were
You were right.
legal immigrants. They were
Right,
all
right.
legal asylum seekers, refugee status, parolee status, or TPS status.
So you think that everybody that came over the border?
No, not everyone. Just
came
specifically, not everyone. Just specifically the ones that you were just talking about, the migrants that were staying in New York City hotels, right? One of the hotels, the Roosevelt Hotel, had been closed since 2022 and was specifically reopened in the middle of the winter of 2023 as a result of Greg Abbott sending buses full of legal asylum seekers to New York City from Texas in the middle of winter, while they kept the federal funding and aid that they received directly from the United States government in order to house these asylum seekers. They kept that aid. So that's why Eric Adams, as horrible of a mayor as he really is, still has pending lawsuits against the Texas government for what they did in trying to seek the money from the Texas government for them keeping it after they just put them on buses. It's money that they were sent in order to house these immigrants, but instead they kept it and sent them to other cities and towns so that they didn't have to deal with it or put them up for anything. Like, Eric Adams didn't agree to these immigrants being sent there. They were voted in to be a sanctuary city, and that's just a part of their policies, which of course will change because the mayor of New York City wants to change things, and that's fine. Okay? But the point is that they were legal immigrants. Otherwise, we need to be taking up charges of human trafficking on Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Florida and Texas. Because if they were knowingly sending unauthorized, undocumented, or illegal immigrants to multiple states across this country, then they committed human trafficking, which is a federal felony.
Yeah. No, it's not a good thing, but I think one thing we can agree on is they sure weren't too good a house guests, though, were they?
What crime specifically did the asylum seekers commit?
Oh, you give them free housing, free food. They complain about the food. They complain about this.
They weren't given.
Complain about that.
They weren't.
And then, crime started to go up.
So specifically, the Roosevelt Hotel was like a condemned hotel that they opened up, and when they opened it back up, it didn't have running water. It barely had enough electricity to keep the heat on during the middle of winter in New York City. They were only given $12.50 a day on basically an EBT card, which is only able to be accepted by specific vendors in the area. So they had limited food options, and most people couldn't feed themselves entirely off of $12.50 for an entire day. In New York City, that is maybe a meal and a half.
But crime's not the way to go.
What crime specifically did they commit? Honestly, I don't know.
The alternative. Well, no, there was robberies, there was all kinds of stuff that was going on there. But I know you keep emphasizing the Roosevelt, but in my area, just outside of there, we had 3 Red Roof Inns that were completely taken over.
Okay, and I don't deny that. I'm familiar with the one that most people claim was because it used to be a luxury hotel, and they're like, they're being put up in these luxury hotels. And it's like, no, the hotel was condemned and shut down years prior to it being used, right? So, but of course not.
That's possibly true, but on one of my business trips in New York City, I'm trying to think which hotel it was, but there was a floor we were not allowed to get off
we
on.
should already be at 125,000 likes. Let's get up there in the next 5 minutes.
But it was a business trip in New York City, and they were just like, whatever you do not get off on 6 and 7. And it was kind of a strange thing. And, curiosity kills the cat, right? So what do? You hit either 6 or 7 because you need the doors to open. And taking 2 steps off the elevator doors, you could realize that this was completely, as you say, asylum seekers. I mean, from wall to wall, out in the hallways, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it wasn't even and you got the strange look, like, who are you and what are you doing here? But I don't know. It just seemed a little overwhelming, and I guess that's one of the things with. I know you and I agree to disagree, but with with Donald Trump, we had to get a hold of this. Our tax dollars can't be. Not that the government isn't screwing us up financially beyond belief as it is. Don't get me wrong. There's no way out of this debt that we're in at this point. So, God bless everybody for not holding cash anymore. But it's a tricky spot. I just don't think as the taxpayers that we're responsible for this. We didn't vote for this. No, of course, anybody with a heart doesn't want to see people in third world countries that are in very bad situations, have to go through that. And it'd be nice if the United States could help, but just bringing them in and making it part of our society, I just don't think that was the greatest idea. Coming from a family with a mother that came, I guess it would be now 60 years ago into the United States, very frowned upon, from Italy, held as a doctor, held very negatively in the United States, looked upon very negatively in the United States, but did an incredible job of what she did. But I can remember my mom being, a green card holder, and then I can remember my mother getting her United States citizenship, and that qualified her for a lot of things. I don't think she was the happiest, just like you have a lot of the Hispanic community, et cetera, that are not tickled to death about people that do it the right. I guess what I'm saying is people that do it the right way from start to finish don't like to see what we saw during the Biden administration.
So again,
They
the
just
reason.
like, wait,
So you said a lot, all right? So just give me 1 second here. So I'm going to be very clear.
Sure.
The reason
sure.
why everybody
Yeah,
has
go
an
ahead.
issue with immigration as they think of what occurred under the Biden administration is because all of the mass media bumped it up. They
Oh,
would
yeah,
not stop
I don't
talking
believe the
about
news,
it.
trust me.
So
Yeah. No, you can't believe the news
my
anymore.
biggest thing,
Trust
it's
me.
not about not believing the news, sir. It's about the fact that the idea that the floodgates were wide open at the southern border is because Donald Trump started this when he was campaigning in 2020, and he was telling everybody, if you elect Joe Biden, that the floodgates, they're just going to let everybody in at the southern border, right? Knowing that, and because he already knew, right? He already knew that immigration was already starting to surge again at the southern border. Starting in May of 2020 is when we started seeing it go back up, right? The chart that he used to campaign with in 2024 literally has an arrow pointing at April 2020 that says he left office in April 2020, apparently, according to Donald Trump. He wasn't a president from May 2020 through January 2021, according to Donald Trump's own chart, right? Because that's when we started to see the encounters start going back up at the southern border. So he's the one that started to say during his 2020 campaign that if you elect Joe Biden, the floodgates are going to be wide open. Again, knowing that he was already starting to have another immigration issue. So then the media, and all sides are responsible for this, okay? I'm not saying that this is strictly like a Fox News issue. CNN pushed it out. MSNBC pushed it out, unfortunately, trying to say that the gates were wide open at the southern border, despite the fact that Kamala Harris went out on national television February 2021 and told everyone that was not an American citizen to stop coming to the southern border. Told them all, do not come. Said it so many times that it became a meme. It went all over Facebook where people were making fun of her for saying the words, do not come. Because people are children. But the point is, there wasn't this huge issue as everyone believes, because you can see the data from Customs and Border Protection, right? And we can see how many people they encountered at the southern border. You can look at the definition of the word encounter. You can see how many people they apprehended. Apprehensions were anybody within 100 miles of the southern border that were encountered, whether or not at a port of entry, right? So within 100 miles of the border. Okay. And then you have
Yeah.
is deportations, which is a separate number. So the people that they actually deported outside of that 100-mile marker. Okay. So like there is so much that goes into it that we have to realize that the big media companies all fed into this huge lie, unfortunately. And all you have to do is just look at the statistics, look at the data, right? And I can acknowledge for everybody, and I've done this before, and I have no problem acknowledging it again, that yes, under the current administration, we see a low number of encounters at the southern border. And again, a lot of this has to do with what the mass media put out during the campaign. And then since Donald Trump has been president, you can literally go and listen to Fox News and tell them if immigrants come here, they're going to be sent to a concentration camp. We don't care about being called Yahtzees. We're going to take back the N-word, N-A-Z-I. Sorry, I can't say it because TikTok is sensitive, right? And they're proudly saying on Fox News and calling themselves Yahtzees. Right? While using rhetoric that was spoken the same way that Hitler did in 1930s Germany. Right? So all of this leads to it when people are hearing this in other countries, because we know that all of these broadcasts can be obtained in other countries. They have freaking subtitles, guys, right? So that's why we know, like, yeah, we see this. It's because now the media is speaking the same way that Donald Trump wants them to, which they did the last 4 years as well. Nobody, like, we're also seeing a downturn in legal vacationers, people that just want to come to the United States to go on a vacation. We're seeing our tourism numbers decline, which means that the United States is going to lose out on tourism because tourism income, because people don't want to be subject to being considered an illegal immigrant while they're here on their vacation. We've already seen that where a Canadian died in a detention facility. Right? So Canada is trying to put I think it happened in Tennessee. I don't remember exactly which state, but yeah, a Canadian died in ICE custody.
But they were here just on vacation?
Yeah.
So a Canadian crosses the border, comes into the United States, obviously had to go through
Florida.
customs,
It happened in Florida?
No, that's okay. It doesn't matter what state it happened in, but so a Canadian comes to visit in the United States on vacation. And obviously, let's say no matter how they got here, if they drove or they flew, they must have had a passport, they must have had this, they must have had that, and they were allowed to enter into our country, right? Because they went through customs. Mm-hmm. So now we're doing things the right way. They come in here, and ICE picks, what you're telling me is, because I haven't heard this, and maybe you're right. You're telling me that ICE picks them up and they died in ICE's custody?
Yep. It was in Miami,
because
Florida.
But because of something ICE did?
They just, so from what they've reported and what they've given out, his cause of death is still under investigation. They're not giving any details.
Okay.
They just said that he was found unresponsive and pronounced dead. So they don't know, but they didn't give him medical care. But either way,
all right. Well, that's completely different than what you had said. That's completely different. So the man had an aneurysm, heart attack, internal bleeding, whatever it may have been. They died, but they happened to be getting questioned by ICE at the time. Something wasn't right. But you see how that's again. I hate the media as much as you do, but I also hate when facts are unknown, but people make a statement, and they're the old guilt, innocent until proven guilty, right? And then it's like, okay, so now we just made ICE.
He probably
guilty
died while having a
killing-
seizure because nobody checked on him. And we have obvious reports previously of the fact that people are being denied their medication. And if he was denied or was picked up without his seizure medication, that can cause that to happen. And seizures can lead to death depending on how severe they get or if somebody falls wrong while having a seizure.
No,
so there's
like
multiple
a heart
things.
attack, anything.
But
there's a million ways to die.
I would
I'm with you
encourage
100.
you
I'm
to
with you.
look it up and like research more because yeah, like this isn't the first time. Like again, other places are looking at investigating on putting like other countries are already
Yeah.
giving like alerts out to their citizens to not travel to the United States. We're going to lose tourist
Well,
income. We're also going to see the
well,
fact that Donald
that's
Trump and his
possible.
administration are trying to add a fee for someone to get a tourist
Right.
visa. At first it was $250 and now they're bumping it up to $1,500. So now that not
Okay.
only do we not want tourists, but we only want tourists that have money that they probably wouldn't even spend in America. But yeah. But man,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's a, you know, I don't know how old you are, and I don't know if you want to disclose that either, but in your lifetime of politics, who would you like to see as the president of the United States again? So let's say you got into politics at a very young age, and by very young, I mean 14 or 15 years old.
I would have loved to
Who?
have seen what would have happened if Al Gore had made president.
That's an interesting one.
It's the first
That is.
presidential election that I remember as a kid because my mom was
Right.
very all up about it,
Right.
so we like looked into it a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's something that so you're pretty young. Because you're bringing up Gore and that was the beginning of your politics, and you actually must be on the young side.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a different society. You know, you and I have an age difference of, I'm going to guess now off the top of my head, probably 30 or 35 years. And one thing here, I'll ask you, just so I'm not asking you what your age is, because that's a bad thing to ask a woman. But you're under 30?
No.
Are you under the age of 30? No,
Nope.
you're over 30.
Yep.
Okay. So, what? Which one? You're above 30 or below 30?
Just right over.
Okay, just over. So one of the things that you're missing, that you can never, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but when I was growing up and I was your age, the society in the United States was so different.
Yep.
It was, we lived in a very safe society, in a very prosperous society, and I think that's what people that are over the age, let's say, of 45 at this point, that's what they miss the most. And that may be a lot of where Trump does get his backing from, is trying to make, because like when I was a kid, you didn't lock your doors at your house. And I live in a big city. So you didn't. You just didn't. And it was, and I think that's, where, again, a lot, even though you see a lot of the younger generation now going, I guess, very pro-Trump, but us old people, as I'll call myself to make it nice for everybody, the problems that we have in society now just did not exist. They really, 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 really didn't. Systems weren't abused. You felt, 99% of the time you felt safe. I don't know where
something new today,
craziness
apparently.
has come.
Sorry, no, you keep going.
What's that?
No, you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a different America. It really was. It was very, very it was very different. I'm sure your mom probably tell you the same thing, that when she was, a teenager or in her early 20s, that this crap that we deal with now, doesn't matter who's president, who's this, who's that, it just didn't exist. And I think, again, going back to the older people, that's what we miss. And so that may be where Trump gets a lot of support from, is trying to clean up the streets, trying to crack down on crime, trying to get the economy chugging along again, bringing business back to the United States, whether it's, industry, whatever it might be, factory work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because, my God, I mean, you look at China, they're just wiping our tail right now.
So what generation messed
big
up
with
all of
YouTube.
this then? What generation messed it up from when you were a kid to when I was a child?
The first That's a good question. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but one thing I do know, that at least witnessing it, and that was, and this doesn't go back to the screw up, but I think it does go back to society and the way they act. When Trump beat Hillary Clinton in his first term, chaos ensued. The temper tantrum ensued. It really did. I mean, she had a complete meltdown on stage that night. She had to be sedated. She went taken back to a hotel and basically lost her marbles, destroying things. It was like, it's a weird thing because it's like almost like some sort of, how could it be this big of a disaster? And then from there we go into the chaos in the streets. Let's go after Trump like he's the most evil thing in the world. Again, this is all first term I'm talking about. Let's throw every lawsuit at the man we possibly could. Just like...
I just want to be very clear that this has been debunked.
Sure.
Okay, sorry.
What's been debunked?
The fact that Hillary Clinton was sedated on that night, that's been debunked. I knew... Conspiracy theory. No, man. I can't. It's okay. We've talked. No, it's okay. We've talked for like 37 minutes. So I'm going to take one more.
We can take away sedated. She had an absolute temper tantrum. We all know that.
And Donald Trump never, and still to this day, August 24, 2025, has never once conceded that he lost the election in 2020. So if you want to compare temper tantrums, Hillary Clinton at least conceded that she lost the election. She said, yep, I lost. Here's my concession speech. Similar enough to Kamala Harris when she lost. She gave a concession speech. Donald Trump, even today, August 24, 2025, still cannot admit that he lost the 2020 election. He is literally the biggest child. But dude, honestly, I'm trying to cut it off because I think food is ready.
No, that's fine. I agree with you in that aspect. I was very surprised that Trump's campaign managers, especially going into round 2 here, weren't telling him, "Dear God, Donald, drop the election stuff from when Biden won. You gotta let that go. You gotta let that go." He didn't, and it scares me.
I couldn't. That was way too much. That was, sir, I asked you to stop. So I hung up on you. Because I asked you to stop. It's just like the first person that I brought up that doesn't understand what no means. Gosh. Okay. I have a lot to catch up on. All right, let me go through these. What I was going to say is what I learned today is apparently on the Purple app, it is against their terms of service to ask the streamer their age. So, guys, apparently I have to hang up on you. Anyways, I hope you're still here. I can't... Betty Bear? No, I probably said your name wrong. American taxpayer money went to B2 and boomed Iran, which there's no photos that showing successfully eliminated Iran facilities. Guess what? Millions of dollars. Yes. It costs so much money to send out those bombers and drop those bombs. It costs so much money to drop those bombs. But here we are, worried about our spending. Thank you for the $4.99 in pounds. Or those are pounds. I don't even know what this helping thank you for the $1.99. I can't keep that up here for long. All you call did racism, supporting baby killer, bullying. They made wars around the world so that consequences, stop selling weapons will be solution. Listen, the United States is the #1 arms dealer in America, in the world. Okay, we are the world's biggest arms trade and arms dealer. It's insane. No, those are pounds. I think, pretty sure. Let me see. Where did outlaw cowboys used to run away to? Honestly, tell me, Edgar. I hope you're still here. Tell me, because I don't know. Yeah, no, those are pounds. Okay, I was right. Those are pounds. Euros look different. Okay. Only feds can punish for border crossing. Yes. Thank you, Yitzhak, for the $4.99. Thoughts on Iran is I think that we should have never bombed them, and we still have no proof that we destroyed their nuclear facilities. We have no proof. In fact, what we do know is that because somebody at the Pentagon put out a report that contradicted Donald Trump, guess what happened? They got fired. Doesn't that sound familiar? If I contradict Donald Trump and I am somebody that was hired on, I'm going to get fired. Does this sound familiar to anybody? It sounds familiar to me. Yes, that was out of the Arizona versus United States case. Is that it's only the federal government that can punish it. And yes, 8 U.S. Code 1325, illegal entry, which was written prior to 2012. He did seem to restart his whole argument. I agree. He restarted his whole argument. Not once, but twice. No, guys, it wasn't about rudely hanging up. The guy just was circling the drain after I asked him to stop. So sorry. Hi, how old are you?
I'm in the 40s.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, the second time, yes.
So in 2024?
Yep.
Okay. Do you still support him?
No, I voted for him only in 2024. The first time I voted for Jojo Jurgensen.
Okay. 1 second.
But I just wanted to bring up a couple of points that you were bringing up.
I said 1 second. Hold on. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Yeah, I figured that was a child. Okay, sorry about that, guess. Why do you still support Trump?
Oh, I still support him because he's doing like 70% of the things that we wanted him to do, and
Like, what specifically?
well, right now the big one is the borders. But I did want to bring up a couple
I
things that you
don't
brought
feel
up.
like talking about any prior conversations because I don't remember anything past the old guy who hurt my brain because he kept circling the drain on his conversation.
Yeah. He couldn't narrow it down quick enough.
Yeah, anyways. So what specifically is it that you still support Donald Trump about or on?
Oh, like you said, the America has gone down the hill, and everyone's, like there's a New York mayor who cleaned up New York about 30 years ago. It worked out great. America has got really bad. We just need a little bit of sweetening, and it'll be over soon, hopefully. And it happens, every once in a while. We got to keep our borders. We let in a lot of immigrants every year, and that's fine. But because I've been to those proceedings and I've seen how many people we let in. Stadiums full. But undocumented, that's a different thing. We got to keep that under control because there's been some bad things happening. There is some bad guys, coming in through those open borders, and it's not a big deal for us to just clamp down on that for a little bit to show the people, hey, as soon as Donald Trump in his first term brought up that he wanted to close the borders, people stopped coming, because they know, hey, it's wrong.
No, they didn't. He went out on national television in May 2019, admitting to the entire country that he hadn't done anything on the border and that he was begging Congress to do something about the border because we had a crisis in May 2019.
Yeah, that's correct. And but his words and his threats do a lot. And that's why he's a good businessman. His just words alone stopped the flow of traffic into America. Even though the Democrats didn't want to work with him, the Democrats didn't want to work with border states. If a border state would put up
who had the majority in Congress in 2017 and 2018?
Not sure.
The Republicans. So when Donald Trump went out on television in May 2019, he had to admit he hadn't done anything for his first 2 years of presidency. It was only on January 3rd, 2019, that the Democratic Party took the majority in the House of Representatives under his first administration. So when we're talking about May 2019, that's 5 months of only Democrats having the majority in the House of Representatives. He didn't do anything for his first 2 years of his presidency where the Republicans had a majority, which is why he went out on national television May 2019 and had to say that there was an issue, there was a crisis at the border.
Yeah, and that's correct. And Donald Trump even spoke on this, saying that when he was first became president, it was a new job to him. He didn't know how to navigate it, and he was just learning. And that's a big deal.
It's new to every single president in their first term, but he's also the one of, according to 147 historians, they rate him in the bottom 3 worst presidents of all time, which means that they only consider 2 other presidents to be worse than him. And that means out of 100, guess what? So there's been 47 presidents prior to. Let's just go to 45, right? So that means 42 other presidents that had no idea what they were doing when they were first elected in their first 4 years of the presidency did a better job than Donald Trump. The man who you said is supposed to know, like, be a businessman, be a great businessman, and so therefore he knows how to do all of these deals, should have understood or should have been able to make a smooth transition into being president of the United States, because all of y'all believe that the country should be ran as a business, right?
Well, what you don't understand is it's like politics is a war. You can't just break your way in and have everything done for you on the first day. If you think that, you got a lot to learn. So it takes, you gradually got to build your team first. How long does that take? It takes a long time. You got to build your team, find out who to trust. He was building his team with people he didn't really even know. During the first presidency, he was getting talked to by advisors, and trying to build a whole network and a team in America when you're fresh into politics is hard. A lot of these other people could do it because they've been lifelong politicians.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're also behind the scenes involved in the swamp.
Oh, sure.
But to tell you the truth, I don't even trust Donald Trump or any of these politicians. To tell you the truth, but I do trust 70% of what he's doing, and I think in a way they are the 2 wings of the same bird. They're just using us and playing us.
Yep.
They're making things bad just so they can fix it. But we're talking about the wrong things if you really if you really care about America and each other.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Can you think of one thing that'll really fix everything?
No, because unlike Donald Trump, I acknowledge the fact that there's not a magic wand that someone can wave, and it's fixed.
Is the open border your biggest issue, or what is your biggest issue with Trump?
Oh no, sir, there is no open border. The borders have never been wide open.
Do you believe in open borders?
Oh gosh, you're so boring. 1 second. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Yeah, I knew it was going to be a child.
Dang.
They do it all the time. Anyways.
What app is that?
It's the number that's on the screen.
Oh.
Yeah. No. I don't believe in open borders. Just like I know for a fact that there's never been a, quote, open border policy, because no one can point one out to me. I can't find one on any government website. CBP officials said during the Biden administration, said it again under Trump's administration prior to that, said it under Obama's administration, said it under Bush's administration, said it under Clinton's administration, everything that I can find, that the border has never been open. and under any administration, just for the fact as well that the border can also never be fully closed because there's over 1,900 miles of border at the southern border. Over 1,900 miles. 1 second. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
How old are you?
18.
Date of birth.
Probably not.
You took too long.
So I got 2 points I want to bring up about the border. First, there's a little documentary on topdocumentaries.com, I think, about how people from South America, it was hard for them to get to like Mexico and the northern hemisphere because of a jungle, but people started like escorting them around the jungle. That's point number one. That's another story. Point number two is the Democrats really did seem like they were putting out the invitation to come.
No, Kamala Harris literally went out on national television, international television really, and said, "Do not come." She was made into a meme. She was literally made into a meme. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, I'm sorry, is that better?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 14. I'm not sure if that's okay.
It's not because of TikTok terms of service, but I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, he actually sounded smart, but we can't do it.
No, TikTok requires 18 or more, and I don't talk to 18-year-olds either right now, so.
Yeah, and I wish there was a way I could explain better at the moment of how they invited everybody.
They didn't. They literally did not. You know, I just explained this, and I know you've been in the queue for a little bit. I don't know if you were during that last call or not. Yes, at least he was honest. I appreciate him being honest. Anyways. The only reason why we have this misconception that there was this wide open southern border is just because of the media.
Of people came in.
Nope. They
millions
didn't.
of people came in. Look at the numbers.
Where?
The numbers.
Where? What numbers? Where?
In the documentary on topdocumentary.com.
I'm not looking at a documentary. I like primary sources. What primary source can I go to that tells me that millions upon millions of people came in under the Biden administration?
I don't know who counts this stuff. I don't know. But, you know, I live in LA, so I see it. I live in the heart of LA.
Last time I checked, Los Angeles is not on the southern border.
Hey, you know, they come straight. I'm Mexican. I got family in Mexico. I know exactly what's going on. I got family in Mexico.
And guess
Texas.
what? I also have an uncle that lives in Mexico, and he says you're wrong.
Mexican? Are you Mexican?
No, he just lives there. He's a former Navy vet. He moved to Mexico.
I got family in Mexico, America.
Okay, well, again, he says that you're wrong. He says that there is no mass flood of immigrants flooding to the southern border.
You know, it's not just the immigrants.
I also like my boyfriend's family is also from that same area that you're talking about, being in around Los Angeles, California, and they also say that there's no huge mass immigration population in LA. That there's this huge issue. They also say that there's no issue. So I mean, you're also wrong. Do you see how it works when you say, like, I'm from here, I know these things? Do you see how silly that sounds? Because
your friend said, like, what? I literally see them. You should.
Oh, you mean like when we have video calls and they show it to me? Like, I can't see it with my own eyes when it's on a video call?
I live here. I see them every day.
Oh.
Every day I see them.
Oh, you don't think I video chat with my family every day? That's rude. I have a good conversation and a good rapport with my family.
I talk to them. One of my good friends was from
Oh, wait. You're just hearing this from other people too? Gosh, dang, that's not a reliable source because you're not seeing it with your own eyes. Why would you say that to me?
I'm in construction. I work in construction. I literally know all these
Oh, yeah, you just know everybody. Well, dude, so do I. I literally know somebody in each one of the states. I also know somebody in Washington, D.C., specifically Ward 8, where, guess what? Donald Trump hasn't sent anybody to Ward 8, but they're experiencing the highest level of the murders that were being reported in Washington, D.C. that Donald Trump is complaining about. But Ward 8 hasn't seen any National Guardsmen in their area. They haven't seen any of the patrol, like the federal police, go to their area in Ward 8 as well. It's so, do I want them there? No, but my friend actually says, it would be nice to see them, and maybe that'll help decrease their crime rates there, because again, Ward 8 saw highest level of murders in Washington, D.C. by far, but they're not seeing any of them. They're only seeing them in the fancy smancy places. No, sir, I'm done. I'm sorry. You're ridiculous. I have a friend that told me this. Do you see how silly you sound? I know this because I saw it with my own eyes. Well, I saw it too. I didn't see that. What? I can do the same thing all day long. It doesn't make it true. What? We have time for one more caller. Y'all are just being ridiculous at this point. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 32. I'm old.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did not, but I did want to talk about something that's kind of adjacent. My parents did.
Okay. And really quickly,
kinda...
before I forget, I didn't mean to forget this, but Chris, thank you for the $1 over on the app that starts with a V. What's up? Sorry.
So I wanted to talk about, one of the main reasons people are voting for Trump from my personal perspective, and it's misinformation and not being able to tell the difference between, obvious AI videos, Fox News said it, Newsmax said it, so I believe it, and it's really frustrating, and I think they want to believe these things. One of your previous caller was like, oh, when I was a kid, we left our door unlocked. But during that time, there was more violent crime than right now. So if you think you should be locking your doors right now, you should have been locking them back then. They just want to believe these things.
That's true.
And I've talked to especially my dad a lot about this, and I think they want different things than I'm kind of like a Bernie Sanders type socialist, but the average Dem or leftist, I think a lot of it's racism, oh, there's so many people coming in because I see a bunch of brown people, oh, they must be illegals. And you look up who they're mainly rounding up, it's people who aren't white. Mm-hmm. It's what it is. So I think that's what it is. They want these policies because they want America to be white again. And I've seen, maybe it's just on the internet, but people seem to be more open about wanting an all-white America, and fascism becoming, unfortunately, in vogue. So I'm not really sure what we can do. When I was young, I thought if we just talked to people, took the time, it can happen. But I think as a whole, they're just not going to change their minds. They're not going to listen, and I'm not really sure what to do at this point.
So there are some conversations that, of course, you can have, and there are others that just aren't going to get very far. And all you can do is just try to point them in the right direction and just hope that they listen or understand. I'm not necessarily up here looking to change the minds of the people that I actively talk to. I'm up here to get someone else to listen and understand. Not necessarily them. I'm looking for someone else that's in the chat to hear me, fact check me, and then see what the truth of the matter is, right? And I think that's something important that you can do. And while, yeah, they believe that America was majority white, we all know that America is our whitewash history is incorrect on so many levels. So it's just a matter of trying to reach the people that you can. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't going to believe something until it directly affects them. So, for example, while we did see, and let me be clear, guys, I don't like the idea of this. I'm just using this as an example. So what we know is that Donald Trump saw an uptick in his low income poverty voters compared to 2020 and 2024. And now a majority of these people might be on some kind of government assistance, whether it be SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security benefits, whichever one it is, right? There are individuals that voted for Donald Trump that are going to lose access to those social programs as a result of their vote and as a result of the big, beautiful bill. They're not going to believe it until it happens to them. While I do not wish it to happen to them, unfortunately, it is currently the truth of the matter. Some of them will fall through the cracks, and then they're going to be the ones that have to tell their neighbors or their friends that, hey, this happened to me. They weren't lying when they said that this was going to happen. I don't want to see any individual in this country lose access to their social programs. See, there is now a common saying that Republicans will take away health care for 99 Americans on the idea that one person might be cheating the system. Whereas, and guys, I'm not partisan, but this is just an example of what we saw with the voting of the big, beautiful bill, is that on the other hand, Democrats will try to give health care to 99 Americans despite the idea that there might be one person cheating the system.
And at least in my personal experience, like when I pressed the people in my life that voted for Trump, and I of course use a light hand, like they agree with me that everyone should have health care like every other developed country, like everyone, including that hypothetical lazy gamer in the basement. But then they bring this up. Like, I just think everyone should have health care. How is that a good enough? Oh, there might be a couple of able-bodied young men who get free health care, which I think is a ridiculous lie to even tell.
Oh yeah, they always start with that.
But if you press them like, oh yeah, like we should have health care like every other developed country. So I just don't understand how these things work. And another thing that happened to me personally, I had to replace my son's birth certificate to start school. And I don't know for sure this was a result from like the Doge cuts and stuff, but I had such a hard time getting his birth certificate replaced. It took me 3 months. And he was, my son was born here, I was born here. There wasn't anything weird, or not 3 months, 3 weeks, excuse me. And from the other people I know, you could just walk into the DMV and get a replacement previously. Maybe I just had a weird situation, but it was very difficult to get any sort of replacement paperwork. And my mom was like, well, that's what we get for having all these illegals in our country getting fake paperwork. Because like I was trying to vent to my mom basically that I was having just a tough time, and in that situation I wasn't even bringing up politics. I was just upset because I was like, oh, what am I going to do if I can't get that? Can my son start school? But like she she's just like, oh, well, this is illegal's fault because they've been cheating the system. And I didn't say anything because I felt like I was going to explode at her when she did that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these people, even when maybe some will change when it personally hurts them, but I think what'll happen is like, oh, they lose, their food stamps, their health care, and they've been, paying taxes, and I think having health care and food is a human right. Doesn't matter if, I just don't think it matters.
If anyone ever, I'm just sorry. I am gonna wrap this up because I need to eat. And I was hoping to talk to a Trump supporter for my last call, but it's okay. So if anybody ever tells you that we don't have the money to pay for universal health care, remind them that China and India, who have over 1 billion in their population number and a lower GDP than the United States of America, offer universal health care to their citizens. It is 100% affordable for the country that has the highest GDP in the entire world and not even having the largest population in the entire world.
I've been using the Bernie Sanders, what do we, Haiti? Which has a little bit of a connotation, but it seems to work like when I use it with Trump people. But I appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah,
Good luck on your last call.
Oh, no, you're fine. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. That is my last call. I wasn't trying to confuse it. But really quickly, hold on, TikTok, muting you for a second. TikTok, go ahead and tap the screen up to 200,000 real quick. I know you can do it. YouTube, Twitch, is there any way, as I'm reading these last 2 super chats, that we can get 4 new members? That's all I'm looking for. It's just 4 new members on YouTube. And if anybody is able to subscribe over on Twitch, friendly reminder on Twitch, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can get a subscription on Twitch for free. Hey, Social, I wanted to make sure to say hi to you. But yeah, let me read through these last couple super chats. Splatting, if you are in the United States of America and voted in the United States of America, certainly I would talk to you. But thank you for the 2 euros. I don't know what to tell you, Christopher, if you got warned for question marks. I've already changed everything. Yes, the repetition. Oh, that's true. Rob said, thank you for the 5. For fascism to succeed, it needs an enemy to blame for taking all of your stuff. But the truth is, it's the state that's taking everything from you. Yes. That's pretty accurate. So what we already see is that we've made an enemy of certain members of the United States population, right? Population size. I'm not even talking about citizenry, right? We've made immigrants to be the enemy. And let me be very clear, guys. Donald Trump is not just deporting those who came here illegally, came here through improper entry is what we'll say. He's not just deporting them. He's actively going out of his way to revoke the status of individuals that have been here in order to make them deportable or removable. He's going after illegal immigrants. He's going after people that are paying taxes. And you all wanted to complain that they're not paying taxes or that they're a net negative on the system because of their inability to pay taxes. Well, then why is he asking IRS for data on anybody that has an ITIN? Do they pay taxes or do they not? Which one is it? So now we're acknowledging that we're taking out people that are putting into the system. And yeah, he's actively looking through 55 million visa holders, which is a legal process to be in the United States, to check for any errors so that he can also remove them as well. So which one is it? Are we in support of legal immigration and we only want illegal immigrants to be removed? those who come here through improper means or improper channels to be removed? I'm a little confused on this one. Do we want them to pay taxes, or do we want to lose tax revenue? Just some questions to put out there and make you think, I hope. But 1 second, Tiki-Talkie. All right, over on YouTube and Twitch, I am going to go ahead and shut it down for the night. I'll be back on my normal time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. We didn't get the last two couple subs, but that's okay. The last two members